in the Circuit Clerk's office.
Absolutely. Thank you all for having me here today to talk to me, to listen to me, I guess, explain why the Circuit Clerk is important to each and every one of you. I am Sherry Terrell. I'm your current Boone County Circuit Clerk, and I'm running for election to remain your Circuit Clerk. So who am I? I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm a Boone County girl through and through. I was born and raised in Boone County. I'm married to Jason Terrell. You may have seen him by my side. He is the Sergeant Court Marshal for the 13th Judicial Circuit, but he's in Callaway County. We did meet in Boone County, and the rest is history. Together, we have 6 pretty amazing boys, ages 24 to 34 as of tomorrow. I have twins to be 34 tomorrow, so we're pretty excited about that. We have 1 daughter-in-law, 3 daughter-in-laws, and 11 fur grandbabies. But that is kind of who I am on the personal side of it. I worked with court for over 22 years, and 20 of those years have been right here in the Boone County Circuit. Just a little bit about work history. I started the front line. Which is kind of an entry-level position. I'm sure why, because most lines sometimes it's the interaction that anybody may have with the court, but that's where I started. Absolutely had no idea what I was doing, but realized I really liked it. I was very intrigued with the course. From there, I became quickly, like a year and a half, I became manager for the civil team before moving to the county and traffic management command to Christine Moore. She was our circuit clerk who retired, and I was appointed to this clerk after she retired. So to fulfill two. I'm a graduate of the Court Management Institute. That is a very rigorous 2-year program. I'm honored to run alongside circuit clerks throughout the state. I learned knowledge of how history, I have learned with my campaign that many people don't actually know what the circuit clerk is. Understand so when you think of a magistrate whispering to their clients, behind heavy desks, judges with the gavel in hand, all those judges and attorneys, they often room spotlight on them. People that were behind the scenes that keep the side of the judicial system is the circuit clerk's office. So we are responsible for preserving that record and protecting it for generations to come. So any case that is filed with the court, whether it be from initiation to disposition and everything that happens in between, someone in my office has worked with that case and they've updated that record to make sure that it's accurate and preserve it, like I said, for generations to come. So my office, my team of 46, almost 47 clerks, we're the keeper of the record, like I said, and we take great pride in updating those records promptly and accurately, ensuring that they're preserved for future generations. While you may not directly be affected by my team's work, maybe someone you know or a loved one most likely is, because when I say court, what does that mean? That means anything from like a small claims case all the way up to maybe a wrongful death case. We handle written possession cases, minor traffic cases, all the way up to a more serious offense such as criminal murder on the criminal side. We have some nice things that happen in the court system. We have adoptions, which that's very rewarding. But then we also have some more sensitive matters, such as orders of protection, dissolutions, and things of that nature, juvenile matters. But really what it boils down to is you and everyone that encounters the court, they deserve for the record to be accurate and for it to be updated timely. And if there's a problem, you want the accountable party to handle that problem quickly and with humility. And that's what I do. That's what my team does. So I just want to give you some numbers about cases that were filed in my office. In 2023, we had over 22,000 cases that were filed with the circuit clerk's office. We're also responsible with receiving and dispersing funds on a state and local level. And those are funds that are generated from filing fees, court costs, garnishments that run through our office. A lot of people don't realize that. And in 2023, there was approximately $24.9 million that ran through my office. So it is very important, I believe, that you have experience. You need somebody that knows how to deal with those cases, knows the administrative side of it, as well as the accounting side. And I was the accounting and traffic manager for a while doing those bank recs. And it's funny because when I think back on it now, I never would have saw myself running for this position. I always thought I was my best me, second in command, just doing things behind the scenes. But when Christy Blakemore started just kind of planting seeds that her retirement might be coming up, nobody was stepping up. No one was coming forward. And so I thought, somebody's got to do this. And maybe this is what I prepared, my past 22 years doing is preparing for this job. So I guess I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. I was also asked recently, why was I running for circuit clerk? And just like I told you, nobody was stepping up. But that question really resonated with me because I'm not sure I really knew why, other than we needed somebody in there that knew what they were doing so that the courts could continue to run smoothly. But I think looking at it now, I'm running for all of the relationships that I've built. My office, like I said, at 46, soon to be 47, we work really closely with our judges, our attorneys, other judicial partners, law enforcement, bondsmen. We have the honor of working beside them every day. And then the residents of Boone County, to provide access to the court records, not only to the court record, but to me, to have access to me and to know that the integrity of those records is maintained. And the accountability that we talked about that, because that's very important. So I'm proud to say that I am running to be your circuit clerk, to continue being your circuit clerk. You must have experience in that office, and it isn't a position of political ties. I've tried really hard to educate people on that. It's kind of a shame that we have to declare, but we do, because I am bound by statutes and court rules. That record still has to be processed regardless of what my political affiliation is. But the circuit clerk's office is the backbone of the court. And I've acquired the knowledge, the skill, and the nuance that can't be learned on the job or just a few short years. So what have we been doing? A couple big projects with my office is Show Me Courts. Well, let me back up. Let's go a little bit further. CaseNet, did I briefly talk about that a while ago? Okay, I'm sorry. So CaseNet, if anyone is familiar with CaseNet or ever gets onto CaseNet to look at a case, then you're directly looking at the work from my office, because we're responsible for updating all of those records. But there's the expanded remote access where you can now see public documents from your home that are on CaseNet. And the reason why I mention that is it's not the clerks or anyone on my team. It's not their responsibility to review those filings that are being filed to make sure that we're not sharing confidential or sensitive information. But we do try to take a look at those just to let the attorney or the judge or somebody know, like, hey, I think somebody missed something on here. We may not catch everything, but we sure do try that. So that's real important to know. We also, Show Me Courts, we are a pilot court for Show Me Courts, which is the statewide judicial system. And although some days we want to pull our hair out, it's very good to be a pilot court because we're able to have say in what the records look like and how the system works. So we not only are dealing with being a pilot court, we've got expanded remote access, and then we're also doing the marijuana expungements. Those are the legalization of marijuana. The expungements were automatic. Well, automatic is someone on my team doing those. So just to give you a quick few numbers over that, we have entered to date orders to expunge 2,579 expungements. We have reviewed 6,319 cases. We had to review them to determine that they were not eligible for expungement. And then, of course, we have about 154 orders to process from the judge, and then 62 more that we had sent to the judge to review to enter that order. We also have about 1,400 more cases to go through, and that just gets us to cases that we're able to get our hands on. That doesn't go back to the old books where the judgments are. So I have, I've talked about my team. They're amazing. I couldn't be where I am without them, but they are working like 2 nights a week and 2 Saturdays a month to get this work done, because we just can't get it done during the day. So we've been doing that. As far as the campaign goes, we've been attending any type of forum where people will listen to us. We've been doing some door knocking, which I think is a little bit different than what I've heard it was in past years. But we've been door knocking, and we've got many more doors to knock. But yeah, I'm here. I'm in here for the long haul, and I'm ready to continue being your circuit clerk. So
thank you. I don't see any questions online yet, but feel free to type them in the chat.
Sarah?
Yeah.
I got some.
Yeah, sure.
You mentioned show me courts versus case net. What's the
Okay.
difference between
Well,
those two?
Show Me Courts is what we use on our side to update the record. It's our case management system.
Okay.
And so what you see is going to be CaseNet.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other side.
Yes. So Show Me Courts is my side, and we use CaseNet too. But yeah.
Is CaseNet unique in Missouri, or most or all states have systems like that?
Well, I don't want to say that we're unique in Missouri, because we many moons ago, Christy and I had went to visit. We did a court automation. We went to Florida, so I believe many courts throughout the nation have it. But most, I think all of the circuits now in the state of Missouri are on CaseNet and Show Me. So
this is an incredibly naive question, but why is it an elective office?
I don't know the answer to that, and maybe I should. I don't have a good answer for that. I need to now. You're going to make me research that. But we've been getting that a lot.
Jenna gets this question about the treasurer's office, and I don't understand the answer, but the answer I've heard her say is it has something to do with us being a charter style of government, and somehow that dictates.
Okay.
It follows from that.
Yeah.
Which offices are elected and which aren't. That is third-hand information, but
Relates to the size of the county.
Yeah.
In the absence of home rule charter.
okay.
If you had home rule, we could find that.
Okay.
Now I'm going to have to look into that a little bit more. I've learned something today. So that's good. Thank you.
We got a couple of quick ones also. Bailiffs, court bailiffs under your jurisdiction, or is that somewhere else?
Well, in the 13th, they're called marshals.
Marshal.
So that's when I was referring to my husband. He's a marshal,
Okay.
but they actually are under the court administrator's office. So yeah.
So your husband doesn't work for you?
No, not at all. No. And he will stay in Galloway, and I will stay in Boone, because we do not want to work together. So yeah.
Got a couple of questions in chat. Is it okay? Somebody asked, who's your opponent? Do you have one?
I do have a Republican opponent. Her name is Amanda Old.
And then a second question, this is from Ruth. How much time does the work for one expungement done electronically take? And actually you have to average. And how much for one from the paper records? So digital versus paper.
Digital is quick, because what we have to do is we have to pull up the charging documents to see what they were actually charged with, because it may fall under a code that we need to look at, but then find out it's a different type of drug, not necessarily marijuana. I would say the longest part of it is reviewing it to see if the charge is eligible, and then entering the order. And gosh, maybe, let's say we had everything we needed, maybe 7-8 minutes, maybe not very long. But when you have paper, you've got to put all that time in of going and getting it, and then we're scanning the documents into the case so that we can send that information to the judge. So it's going to double, if not more, the time for that. And we have the state is paying for the overtime to work on these expungements, which we've never had that before. We've never been able to do that. So we're very thankful that we're giving the funding to do that. And this last time I asked for money, I keep running out of money. It's because my team is just amazing and they're working on them. But this last round, I asked for over $40,000, and we're probably about halfway through it. So it goes fast.
Will that get you through the end of the year? I'm trying to
Yes, I do believe so. I do believe that it will, so.
Is expungement automatic if certain criteria are met, or does it ever go through judicial review?
Yes, it still has to go through the judicial review. So we prepare it, send it to the judge for the judge to review and to sign off on the order. So automatic, but not.
Did that answer your question, David Robinson? Your hand went down. Okay, yeah. No, he said his question was answered. So then Sue or Herb have their hand up.
I wanted to ask how your campaign is going. Because I don't know anything about your opponent or what's, how active, whether there's much money in the campaign and that sort of thing, your opponent's campaign.
My campaign actually is going, well, this is the first time I ever did it, but I've got really good tribe. I say that a lot. I know you've heard me say that a lot. I've got a great tribe with friends, family, and the party. There's no way I could do this without everyone. I had no idea how much money it takes to run a campaign. We're trucking right along. We are attending, like I said, anything that we can to help educate people on how important it is to keep experience in this office. I will tell you that I'm very familiar with my opponent. She has 5 years with the judiciary right in my office, a few of those years. But I think I would say this about anyone, regardless if you worked in my office or not, you need more experience than that. If you just look at the number of cases that we deal with and the amount of money that comes through our office. But we're doing pretty good. We're getting kind of low on funds. We're getting ready to reach out to everyone again to see if anybody can pull in to help us, bring it on home per se. We've been putting up signs, mailing out literature. What else have we been doing, Jody? T-shirts. Yeah, we've got T-shirts. We're getting
You got a strong parade.
Oh yes, we are doing the parades. We usually have at least 20 to 25 people at our parades just to kind of help. And I think one big thing that's really helpful to me is I have individuals that are known Republicans that are really trying to spread the word for me that how important it is that our judiciary keeps experience in our office. So we're also trying to hit that side of it as well.
I'll attest the parades I've been at, like she's got an army and police.
I have a wonderful tribe. I cannot deny that. I cannot. And they also like me, I think.
The other candidates, them and maybe 2 or 3 other people wearing their T-shirts. I'm like, wow, there's like 20 or 30 in the city.
Yeah.
Oh, Dave Taylor says Amanda Old has tons of very large signs in Southern Boone, but he doesn't know a single thing about her campaign.
And she is from Hartsburg.
Okay.
So I would,
friends and family.
And we've got a few big ones out there, but yeah, that is her strong area. That's where she's from. So yeah.
And you have one from the dive bar,
I do.
which is not normally good in politics.
Yeah, they let me put one on the very end. So on the I was like, let me just put it as far away from you as I can. Yeah. Yeah.
And you have the circuit courts in Boone County, but not in Callaway County.
That is correct. That's under a different appointing authority there. That would be Megan Morse has Callaway County.
And those include the drug courts and the special courts that we have for the circuit courts in Boone County.
Correct.
And are there particular problems in the special courts in handling their cases?
I don't know that I would say they're problems. They can be kind of challenging because we'll get an order from Commissioner Clevenger, and if that needs to be in the criminal file, then there has to be some good communication between the treatment court clerks, I'm not sure what their staff is called, and us to make sure that we get that criminal record. But I don't know that there's really any problems. Just a lot of good communication, and that's, and having a good relationship with them.
She was asking, is your opponent still work for you?
No. No, she does not. She worked in our family court team and then went to our criminal team, and then went to the judge's office for just a brief bit, went to Austin for a brief bit, and then I believe she's with the 19th Circuit now, I believe. So.
Solomon, do you have another question?
Or you. I can't.
I appreciate very much your good service to our circuit. Thank you.
Thank
It
you.
should be obvious to all in Sunday that you are the person to continue. Therefore, I'm going to ask you a philosophical question. They sometimes, in some states, in some places, elect technical personnel such as you, rather than appoint them. Argument usually is that the act of running for office teaches one something important that may contribute to better performance on the job. What are you learning during this campaign that you think is particularly beneficial to you and to us?
How much time do you have? You asked that. We were just sitting here before the meeting started talking about how much I have learned on this campaign. And I have been told you're going to appreciate this position a lot more because you are running for it. You know, it's just not handed to you. And I would agree. Anything that we have to work for, we're going to appreciate more, correct? We're going to take care of it more because we've worked so hard for it. I have learned, that's a hard question because there's so many different answers and I just got a lot of things rolling around in my head. But I think the most important thing that I'm learning for me is just to be me. I want people to see me and who I am. And I've always have been told that I'm very genuine, and that I have a lot of grace and compassion with people. And that is what I want you to see. And I continue to do that. I don't want that to change me, but I think it makes me really appreciate what I've heard people say about me because I'm going to continue to be that way. Does that answer your question?
Well,
That's a great answer. Thank you.
you have some other things.
Yeah, keep talking.
Other things that you've learned. I gather you didn't make public speeches a lot before necessarily.
Yeah, I'm learning that I get nervous every single time, whether it's just me and one person or if I'm on Zoom or just talking even to friends and family. I've had a lot of people do meet and greets for me, and every single time I get nervous, but I just tell myself it's making me stronger. And I think there's something about being nervous that makes you take things seriously and and I take this very seriously, and I know my team does. I'm going to try not to talk about them. I get choked up. Sorry. Every time I talk about them. But I have an amazing team. And I don't think until you put yourself out in the spotlight that you realize how much scrutiny you are under. There have been some negative things that have kind of been thrown my way in this campaign. And I refuse to stoop to that level and just continue to be genuine and offer grace and compassion. So no, public speaking was not for me, but I think I'm getting a little bit better at it. I still trip over my tongue some. I really enjoy the friendships that I have made during this, the parades, the people in this room. Yeah, it's been very eye-opening. I said when we were talking earlier, I don't feel like I was one that maybe had my hat down, pulled over my eyes before, but maybe I did. Because I'm learning so much more, not only about my position here locally, but even statewide. So,
can I ask you another quick question along that line? Did you do much hiring before?
Yes, I did. As a court manager, because I was second in command to Christy Blakemore for 5 years, but then as a manager, we were included in the hiring process. So I have been doing that for many years. So,
okay, good.
And some things that we've worked on internally, there's been some things that have kind of came out is the turnover in my office. And I did bring some numbers on that. Can I touch on that real quick? Do you guys mind? Because we do have pretty large, do have a pretty large staff. And so I ran back through some numbers from 2021 to 2024. And, coming off of COVID, there was turnover everywhere. But we had about a 32% turnover rate then. But 57% of that were employees that just resigned for better paying jobs. We had 7% was relocated or retired, and then 21% were employees that moved within the judiciary, local, state, or even law enforcement. We kind of kept that all in the judiciary. And unfortunately, we did have about 7% terminated. And that is always hard. That is not something that we take lightly, but we've discovered that we have up to a year probationary period for a reason, because sometimes it's not always a good fit. We're not a good fit for them, or they're not a good fit for us. So we've really started looking at that more, but we don't ever take that lightly. But then when you go to 2022, things weren't getting much better. We're still at 32%. But then in 23, our turnover rate went down to 20%. And so far year to date, we're down to 13%.
Yay.
And just to kind of things that I think are helping is that the state did give a significant amount of raises, because we were the lowest paid in the nation for a while as far as judiciary. And I feel like we're very competitive now. Some of the feedback that I was getting, because I implemented some training plans when I came back, I told Christy, I said, I feel a need for this, because when we did exit interviews, I kept hearing that maybe our training wasn't where it needed to be. So I implemented these ridiculous training plans, as my management team will probably say, but I think they have helped us. They have helped us empower our employees and keep them on track and not get frustrated, because we say it takes 6 months on the job for light bulbs to start going off, for you to start understanding what you're doing. That doesn't mean you're going to understand a process. That doesn't mean you're going to understand what you're doing, but as you do the process more, you're going to start putting all those puzzle pieces together. So yes, I was part of the hiring process. We still are doing that. We are completely staffed right now. We have been for quite a while. I didn't have the data on that, but we were awarded a new position through the clerical weighted workload. We were awarded one new full-time position that we have not filled yet. I figure we're trying to figure out where the best fit is for that in the office. So.
Couple questions, Sherry, related to that. Does your funding come from the state rather than the county?
Very good question. Yes, I have most all of my staff is state. I have 5 county employees. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and the position that we just got through a workload study was another position through the state. Yeah.
So you're like the local manager of state jobs? Is that kind of
for our staff? Yeah.
You're not state.
I'm state.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm state
well,
too.
We both put you in the county, but you're a state employee.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Yes.
interesting.
Yeah.
I've done that now.
Yeah.
Mental math.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Are any of our other county employees set up that way?
I don't think so. I think I'm the only one.
Judicial
Yeah,
system.
the judiciary. Yeah.
It makes sense now that I think about it, but I just never thought about it.
Yeah, and I didn't think about that. There was one other thing I wanted to mention while you were talking. Oh, some other trends that we had found with the turnover rate was a lot of people were wanting like a hybrid work schedule. And so we can't offer hybrid because we have to be in seat. We're very customer facing. And something that I didn't share that I think would be important to share is that, you know, my office, I say we're the keeper of the record, but that also includes the on associate level cases. Certain cases have to be heard on the record. I have staff that goes into the courtroom and they actually record it. Different than a court reporter where they're actually capturing everything that is said. We are digitally. And then if it ever they need a transcript, that would be prepared down at our office of state court administrator. But right now, 2 of our circuit judges, because there's a shortage of court reporters, I have staff that are in their courtrooms recording everything that is on the record. So we're hoping that those will get filled soon. But yeah, so some days we're spread pretty thin. But again, that just kind of goes back into how important it is to have those good collaborative relationships. So.
I have one more question. This
Yeah.
sort of thing I would never thought about before. I got involved in politics a few years ago, but people all this time asking people who run for office, what are your long-term goals? You hope to be governor someday or US senator?
Absolutely not. Did you hear me say I am my best second, behind the scenes? No, this is probably as far as I will go as long as everybody will keep me. I'm very happy with what I do, and I'm kind of mama bear over my team. Like I said, I appreciate them immensely, and I will be with them as long as I can be and as long as they want to keep me there. So
Good.
I have a
that-
question.
yes,
Is there a difference on what the county employees do of your employees versus the state employees?
that's a very good question. There is not. The only real difference is that they get their pay schedule is a little bit different than ours, but we keep that really close to the state employees just out of fairness. But they are able to observe all of the holidays as the state, just as the state does.
Is anybody in this room the red car in the driveway?
Me,
Oh, Pam, the trash truck is trying to get to our dumpster. They're not enough Sioux called and they're not enough. Sorry about that.
Uh-oh.
I was like, staff knows better. Why did they, I was gonna get that. We've talked about this. Friday morning, playground. You should answer that.
Just,
I want to say go ahead.
I was gonna ask, where is your office located? Are you in the county chambers
Nope.
building or? in the-
I'm actually in the Boone County Courthouse, and my office is so big, we're split up into 3 different locations. So I'm actually on the 2nd floor, but there's 2 offices on the 1st floor, and then they're up on the 2nd floor is criminal, probate, and administrative offices.
All
Yeah.
of your people are in that building.
We're all in that building, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're spread out.
Do you ever have group meetings with
We
everyone?
do. That's important to do that. Yeah, we do that. We try to do that quarterly, and then we also do like team building because it's hard. We're all one big team, but we might be separated, so we may not work with them as often. So yeah, we do.
How big did you say your staff was?
46, 47 with me, but 40. It'll soon be 47 staff and then 48.
Is that the biggest county office?
No, we're like our county office. You know, it might be because somebody thought that the prosecutor's office was bigger, and I reached out to Roger, and we're almost, I think, twice his size. Almost. I don't know the exact numbers, but yeah, I believe. Yeah, might be. Other than I would say the juvenile office with maybe the detention center. I'm not sure how many they have, but
Who are they under?
court administrator. Yeah.
You know, is that what she managed for?
No,
No, she's public administrator. Cindy Garrett is our court administrator.
So
So,
this position?
no.
It's the first time that you run for office.
Yes.
And how did you get appointed, selected for the office?
I filed for a gubernatorial appointment, and the governor did not do that, didn't do anything, which is the worst case we could have hoped for, because then he kind of let the courts appoint. So our court appointed me. So I got a judicial appointment.
What does that mean? For a single judge that made that appointment, or they get together as a?
Well, it came from our presiding judge, but I'm sure they all got together and agreed. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Well, I want to say thank you. It sounds like you've grown into the job very well, and that you were certainly well established and had the knowledge base to begin with. But I appreciate the fact that you seem to be a great candidate, and we hope you do continue.
Thank you. And one thing that I didn't mention is I do have the endorsement of Christy Blakemore. To me, that means a lot. I do have that. And I've gotten several other endorsements. I just have not had time to put out there, but thank you. I appreciate that. I just want to make sure we're all taken care of.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Office that a lot of us didn't know a whole lot about.
A lot of people don't unless you need to be there. And I do have, I have my email comes directly to Jody or I. She keeps me in line with that. And we're trying to work on our website. It's got a couple little kinks, but if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out, and I will try to answer those.
And Dave Taylor's thrown your address in chat for the people who.
Perfect. Thank
He's
you.
really good at keeping us online.
Thank you.
Is Jody your campaign manager, or do you have a campaign manager?
Well, it's a tribe. David, it's a try.
Okay.
She kind of has stepped into that role. The young lady that was helping me fiercely has been diagnosed with some medical issues, so she's not been able to do as much. But she still does every bit that she can. So yeah. But yeah. Okay. Thank you guys.
Hang on at home. I'm gonna roll you around to look at Al. There's Al. Pam is moving her car real quick so that the trash truck can get to the dumpster. That's the beeping you're maybe hearing at home.
So while I was waiting